All right. We are here today with Virgil Ricks. He is at Stukent and also has been a creator on YouTube of the 2 Minute Classroom with, last I checked, over 130,000 subscribers. So, Virgil, it's great to meet with you today and would love to hear a little bit about just kind of your story and what got you interested and what got you, working in this classroom setting, virtual classroom setting, and what got you interested.
Awesome. Yeah. I appreciate you, Nick, reaching out to me and taking the time to set this up. I always love talking about YouTube and content creation and my YouTube channel, especially, of course. Um, and yeah, so how it came about, it's been about 7 years now that I've had this YouTube channel, 2 Minute Classroom. And I started it based off, I was teaching high school at the time, teaching high school science classes, and my students didn't love like the Khan Academy or Bozeman Science or some of those, those channels that you're probably familiar with that maybe you used in school that I appreciated, but they didn't like them. They thought they were a little long and a little boring, and so I figured I could make YouTube videos that were shorter and maybe somewhat engaging. And so that's what I started to do, mostly making videos around biology topics, a little bit of chemistry, some other stuff in there, and just started putting those out to see what would stick. And eventually had some kind of take off and just kept growing from there.
And then how did you figure out, at what point was it that you decided, or I guess realized, like, oh, I have something here. I need to keep doing this. And I just want to, keep on trying to grow this.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I wanted to create a YouTube channel. I wanted to create content. And so I kind of went at it with this multi-pronged approach, and I created three YouTube channels at the same time. So I created 2 Minute Classroom, which is focused on education around the sciences for high school students. And then I created another one. I think it's called Kids Toys Fun. I don't do anything with it. You can probably still find it out there, but it was basically like a kind of a kids education channel slash toys. Kids toys channels are huge, and so I thought maybe I could get into that space. And then the other one was a fitness channel. So I coached CrossFit for a number of years and done a lot with fitness in the past. So it was kind of in that realm. Um, and I had all of those for a couple months, and I realized two things during that. One, I was much better at the education piece. So given my background in education and teaching and my passion for education, I just cared more about the 2 Minute Classroom channel. And that's the one that kind of leaned to my strengths and took off. So it was both a combination of, hey, this is the one I care about the most and I seem to be the most successful with. And as far as like a turning point, initially, even with that channel, I kind of it was very broad to start around, let me help high school students be successful. And so there was videos on how to manage time, how to budget, how to, do a bunch of things, just general life skills, along with some of these science topics. And initially, a lot of them were actually just like me having a camera up top and writing on a piece of paper, right? So that's some old school kind of video there. And then I found a tool called Video Scribe, which is an animated whiteboard. And my first video I made with that, actually, RNA versus DNA. I think there's a
Yeah.
watermark on it because it was, I was using a free version, and I just tested that out. And that video, within a couple of weeks of being up, really started to take off. And so I realized that that medium, along with my ability to, make these difficult concepts easy to understand, was really a recipe for success. And so it just started to grow from there.
And so I definitely remember seeing the DNA, the mRNA and the tRNA video in particular, and it looks like you've used the same, I don't know what you called the tool, the program for the animation. Have you just used that for all of them? And then also, is that your voice, or is have you used any AI generated voice along the way as well?
Yeah. So most of the videos are using that animated whiteboard. There's a few of the early ones, like I said, that are just, a camera with me writing on a piece of paper. But most of them are using that tool, that video scribe tool. And as far as the voiceover, no AI generated voice. It's all mine. I have a few that I've had people guest voice that
Hmm.
are maybe in a field that they're more familiar with. But for the most part, it's been my voice, and I write out the entire script before. So rather than having like an outline that I follow, in order to keep to the brevity that I keep my videos at,
Yep.
I have to script it out. So I script it out word for word, and then I actually I do the voice recording. I read it in real time.
And how long would you say it takes to do one of those videos from start to finish in terms of ideation, scripting out, using the whiteboard, and then publishing to YouTube?
Yeah. So I've done a lot of research in this, kind of mapped it out, figure out how long it takes, and it's about 2 to 4 hours per minute of video. So most of my videos are around 2 to 3 minutes. So anywhere from like 5 to 10 hours approximately it takes, and that includes me going out and researching the topic, making sure I understand it, and can communicate it effectively. And then that's the first step. And the next step is to script it out. I fully script it out. And then
Hmm.
from that script, I go to the whiteboard tool, build out the animations, and then I do the voiceover. And then a lot of it comes in after that point of actually editing. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I spend more time than I need to align my voice with the animations,
Hmm.
uh, a little bit of post production in like Adobe, and
Yeah.
then publish it and optimize it.
Wow. Didn't even realize it would take be that much. And how many I looked, I could not see, and there were a lot of videos, between the full videos and I see you've done a lot of shorts. How many videos would you say you've done total since the beginning? Or do you even know? Do you have like a guesstimate?
Yeah, I think it's about 115, 120 videos that are there.
Wow. Okay. And how long does it have you seen success with shorts? Have you tried other platforms for the short form? What's been the verdict on that? Everybody's got a different take on which platform is best for that.
Yeah. So depends on how you define success. I have some shorts that have been very successful in terms of views, getting a lot of views, and that's what shorts on YouTube tend to do is get a lot of
Hmm.
views and drive subscribers. As far as revenue, they don't drive significant revenue at all for my channel. And I've taken them a little bit to like TikTok and to Instagram, but I need to put more time into that to really see if there's an opportunity with those short form videos on those platforms.
Yeah, and I know that your audience for this is primarily high school students, I think. And since you've been doing it for so long, do you have any stories or anything of people who might have watched your videos and been a part of it, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, and that you might have, seen or heard from now much later, or, anything like that? Because for somebody to have a lot of success on YouTube, I know it takes a lot of time, and you're in an interesting space where these are people that were essentially kids. I mean, not they were teenagers, and now some people are adults in the working world. I'm just curious if you've seen or heard anything in terms of that customer life cycle.
Yeah, so a couple different experiences, and to caveat, I will say one of my like I guess unique goals with my channel outside of subscriber numbers and views and things like that is to one day come across somebody like in the wild just watching one of my videos in an airport or something. I'll just happen to see over the shoulder somebody watching my videos, which I haven't had that happen yet. But a couple experiences that have been really cool. I had um, my niece reach out to me, and she commented that her teacher pulled up one of my videos in class, and she
Wow.
was like, "Oh, she's like, that's my uncle." And then someone's class like, "Oh, that's awesome. I love this guy." And so like hearing about experience like that, I've had a couple of my nieces and nephews that have had their teachers pull it up in class. And then I actually had a teacher who recognized me one time and said, "Hey, do you make videos?" Like, I think and I'm not in a lot of the videos, so it's just
Yeah.
from either the few videos that I'm in or the thumbnail or something. But he recognized that, and that was a pretty cool experience. And then I do have a couple like OG subscribers that still follow my journey. They're long out of high school and don't find any value in the videos that way, but just that I
Mhm.
have this relationship we built since they were kind of with me from the beginning, and so that's been a cool experience.
Yeah, that's wild. Now, was the experience, YouTube, it's rarely location based. And for yours, everything is evergreen. It doesn't seem like it's geographically, like wherever you are, I don't think it matters. Have you noticed anything in terms of, where a lot of viewers are, any interesting trends that you've seen with the audience?
Um, Not necessarily. I mean, it's definitely worldwide. Majority in the United States, 50 to 60% United States, and then other English speaking, countries, Canada,
Hmm.
UK, New Zealand, Australia, a place like that. A lot of India. India is a pretty big one, just because they're a very populous
Yeah.
country in general. But I do get a lot of, it's really cool. I get a lot of people that will reach out, and I get a lot of positive comments in general, but they'll say, like, thanks, this helped so much. Like, love from Egypt, love from India, love from the Philippines. And so those are always cool to
Wow.
get some international students that are reaching
Yeah.
out. And then in other demographics, uh, I have a pretty even split of male versus female, which is kind of cool. I'm glad that I'm reaching both audiences in that way pretty equally.
Yeah. And, if we, and I guess to go really quickly back to the revenue side, what was the monetization experience like for you? Like, when did that start? And, what I see, you don't post all the time. It takes so many hours to create a video. I can
Yes.
understand why. But I'm curious about what that journey's been like, at what point you were able to start monetizing, and what that's looked like over the years.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So it took me a while to get monetization. And the growth for the channel was just really slow. In my first year, I probably put out more videos than almost any year since. Especially the first couple months, I was really focused on trying to build out this concept, this idea, and figure out what I was going to do here. So I built a lot of videos, and they didn't get a lot of views. It took me 6 months to get 100 subscribers, and a couple thousand views, and then another 6 months to hit 1,000 subscribers, and tens of thousands of views. And then around that time, around a year and a half, is when I started to get monetized, and was making $10 a month, something like that. And then it just
Mhm.
started to really ramp up from there, over the past couple years, and just to the point now where you know on average, I'm pulling in 1,000 to 1,500 bucks a month during the school year, and then it drops during the summer.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself on my own videos. I have a couple walkthroughs of the simulations, and the student simulations, and they get a ton of views, interestingly, in March and April, and then again in October and November, and then nothing for the rest of the year. So yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah, just a couple more questions for you. Obviously, a lot of this is your passion, right? Your background is rooted in science. So based on how long it takes you to do one video, this is clearly a labor of love. And what would be your advice to anybody that's starting a channel? A lot of people are out there saying, "Hey, I want to do so. I want to be a creator on YouTube, but I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what topic I want to choose." What are your words of wisdom there in terms of what to do, but then also, who the audience is for that?
Yeah, yeah. So a couple pieces of advice. The first one would be just to start, like to start creating something. You can always pivot, you can always change, and especially when you're just starting, if you put out a video and it does terribly and nobody likes it, and you don't like it's not going to reach a ton of people or impact your channel because your channel's just starting, right? So I'd say get yourself out there. You'll learn so much from building, creating a video, publishing a video, and realizing, yeah, this is what I want to do. I enjoy this, or you know what, I want to make just short form content. I just want to make, blog style content, and you can figure that out. So I think that's the first step, is just to get started creating something.
Hmm.
Um, a second step, and I don't know that as many people maybe talk about this, but this is what I did. Is I really made it, I wanted to see that this could be successful on its own. And by that, I mean, when I started my channel, I didn't tell my friends about it. I didn't tell my family about it. I didn't, promote it out on my, social medias to say, hey, check it. I created this YouTube channel. Go check it out. Because I wanted to prove the concept like in the platform and see if people are actually going to watch the videos and subscribe rather than, having a false inflation with friends and family and others, which, depending on the content you create, it can make sense to reach out to those people. But for me, it was just, I wanted to prove the concept. And so that's an approach I took. And then the other thing was I I didn't do it to make money, which is hard because now you see so many creators making so much money, and that can be very appealing. And you certainly can grow it and make money off it. But if that's your goal, you're probably going to be disappointed because like I said, it took me a year and a half, and to create content for a year and a half with no revenue coming in, you've got to have some other motivation behind it. You've got to have some other driving factor that's pushing you to make these videos. Otherwise, you're just going to give up.
Yeah, that's great advice. It's yeah, it absolutely is gonna you got to be motivated somehow beyond the idea of just making some money. Um, and then do you have any future plans for the channel? What's the what's the current state? What are you up to next, if anything?
Yeah, so I have endless future plans for the channel. It's just finding the time to enact it and build it out. No, I want to, like you said, I haven't uploaded in several months. I want to get back to creating content and carving out time for that to make that happen. That's kind of my next step, is to get back into it. And for me, I'll just say, and this is another piece of advice, consider your lifestyle and your goals when you're building a channel. My channel is obviously evergreen content, so no one is necessarily waiting for my next video like they would Casey Neistat or Philip Franco, even like Mr. Beast, who as soon as the video's out, tons of people watch it, and then it'll slowly kind of go out. Mine are opposite. Nobody watches it when I first publish, and then it builds and builds and builds as people search that content and need that content in the moment. So for me, that's been a great great to build a channel that is that type of content, because I can go in these waves when my life's busy and I can't create content. It's okay because my channel continues to grow and get traction. So, but with that, I'd like to get back to creating content. I'd like to try some longer form videos. Most of mine, like I said, are in the 2 to 3 minute time frame. Tried a bunch of shorts this past fall to get that experience, but I want to try getting some what I call mega vids, which for me it would be 10 minutes,
Hmm.
8 to 12 minutes, and see what that looks like and how those perform.
And when you say see how those perform, what do you do? Do you just look at the YouTube analytics? Do you see where people drop off? I've seen I read one article about Mr. Beast, actually. It's funny you mentioned him, how he has these people that are looking, and they look to see exactly when viewers drop off, and when that is, they're like, oh, we need to get rid of that type of content. Oh, we can't have a break in the action for more than 2 seconds, or else we see people leave. What's your approach to the analytical side of your videos, if any? I understand too, they're only 2 minutes. It's not
Right.
like Mr. Beast and his 30 to 45 minute epics of being stranded in the jungle or something.
Right. Yep. Yep. So yeah, I don't have as much of an issue with that because my videos are such a short and easy to consume video. But I do look at that. I do look at the drop off. My videos have changed over time, where I used to kind of have a clear ending where I was like, and like to wrap up, or and that's, and try to
Hmm.
summarize it, and people would drop off there. So realize this is the end of the video. I just lead straight into, and if you found this helpful, you should watch this next video on, how to prepare for an exam or something like that, that they can then go to and continue their experience on YouTube through my channel. And that's been effective. But yeah, I haven't seen any significant pieces of mine that, drop off. And when I analyze the analytics, it is mostly yeah, viewer engagement, total views, and then I look at a lot like impressions and click-through rate,
Yeah.
because I get a lot of impressions. I have a pretty good click-through rate compared to what I understand other creators have, but continue to focus on that and drive that helps me to grow.
Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, it's funny because you search anything and you're going to get a million results, and it's just, how do you set yourself apart? Those were about all the questions that I had. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me here today. Is there anything else that you want to share? Any other words of wisdom, advice for aspiring creators into the future here?
No, I'd say just, yeah, just jump in and do it. It can be a lot of fun, especially if you don't, set these high expectations of views or subscribers or revenue for yourself, and just try to get in and experience it and learn from it. You'll learn a ton. And even I'll say this too, just as a business professional, even before my channel was really growing and successful, making any money, I was able to leverage it to get into an MBA program, right? And to, get basically every job I've had. It's been a huge point of conversation, even when, it was a couple thousand subscribers and, not a significant amount of views. The fact that you can show, hey, here's a channel and a brand that I built, and I put out these videos, and this many people have watched them. There's so many people that recognize the hard work that takes, and that will put value on that you can really bolster your resume by having content creation on there that you've done, even if it's not, 100,000 subscribers and millions of views. It doesn't need to be that.
Yeah, that's great, great advice for sure. Well, thank you, Virgil, so much for your time today, and yeah, I appreciate you sharing your expertise and sharing some of your insights. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome, thank you.